Hey, good morning. Welcome to the BlueGamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue. Let me read the thing. It is June 10th, 2024. Hope you had a good weekend. It was a crazy weekend, so there's a lot to talk about there, but this is a daily video game morning talk show where I, a professional video game enthusiast of 30 plus years, Adam Blue, will cover news and industry insights along with what I've been getting into. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff I got into this weekend, but there's also interesting news because there were so many reveals. Isn't this like considered like the E3 pretty much? Yeah, it's that time of year. I miss E3. What I miss, and it seemed to be missing from this, is kind of the spectacle of a bunch of people hanging out. Instead, in this, and it's fine. It was just like a lot of like presentations, a lot of there's probably more of a term for this where you're on a stage presenting something instead of kind of the casual. I liked it when there's like a show floor and then you have people like sitting doing interviews while you're seeing everyone. There's something I like about everyone being connected that just makes it a lot more interesting. Still a lot of cool news, but yeah, then it makes it feel like everything is sterile. The news that comes out is sterile because there's less of that connectivity, of everyone being around each other. Now, there were a lot of people around each other, actually. A lot of media went down there. Different people that were fans, like on the IGN side of things. And, it was... But still, a lot of cool announcements. But let's get into what I was doing. I did a couple interesting things. So first of all, I have made a custom DS. That's this right here. I don't know if I can load into a game while streaming, but basically the idea here with this is I wanted to be able to play, DS, 3DS games. Now I have a DS. I have a 3DS. I have a really nice 3DS with dual IPS screens, all that. Hold on, let me find a game here to launch. But I would love to have something in a larger size. So you see the two screens here, and then I could modify where they're positioned. But this also allows touchscreen controls, or, that you would do on the DS, like the touch. But what I did was I took my favorite mobile controller. This is my favorite, the GameSir G8. I've talked about it before. The thing is, it is USB-C. So right here, a USB-C plug would plug in there. But I modified it. I took the USB-C ribbon cable and kind of had it come out the back. And then I got a smaller little cable a little adapter to plug it in. It's not the best look, but it doesn't get in the way. It's super easy to use, and it's so fun to play this way. I mean, DS games at this size are just amazing. So I was doing a lot of that this weekend, and yeah, tons of fun. So something that's interesting, I've shared with you guys, retro achievements. Let me open my retro. Well, it's Exophase. That's showing everything. A retro achievements was the website. Hold on. Do I need to? Excuse me. I have a soda water here with me. Okay. So what was interesting? I think we talked about it before, where I wasn't earning achievements in Aria of Sorrow, and then I realized it was because I was doing... I just accidentally didn't have the hardcore mode turned on, so I've turned it back on. And what's neat is I'm playing... Like, once you beat it, then Aria of Sorrow unlocks hard mode, so now I'm playing on hard mode, and it's actually retroactively unlocking then the achievements in hardcore mode that I missed during my first playthrough, so that's awesome. So let's see. Let's open this up. So you can see, we talked about it earlier, where this shows that the game hasn't been complete on hardcore mode. And then this is showing gray and yellow, yellow being the hardcore achievements, gray being the softcore. Softcore. But I am able to go back then and get the ones that I wasn't able to get, which is great. So I fixed that bug. It's just making sure hardcore mode is enabled when you're doing your retro achievements. But then the issue came into where it's like, okay, where is Portrait of Ruin? Dawn of Sorrow, which is on the DS, showed up, but not Portrait of Ruin. So there's another bug I have to figure out. What is it that made it where Portrait of Ruin achievements aren't showing up yet. Everything else is. Yeah, and I played a little Crazy Taxi. I was just testing the Dreamcast on this, but I actually had it oriented in horizontal mode. And it like this is going to be my new go-to when I'm playing games, actually. The size of the screen. And so I have another one coming in, and it's actually the same controller, but by the Red Magic camera. They just took this same thing and made a black translucent one. So I'll be, I'll be going back in Portrait of Ruin and figure out. I just started Portrait of Ruin. I actually just beat it on the 3DS, but now I want to beat it in RetroArch or whatever. So I get the achievements. I can track that way. And it looks so good on this. So, and then other than that, what else have I been playing? A couple things. So, Call of Duty. I'm playing it to do the Gundam event they have going on, which it's neat. You unlock some cool Gundam stuff, which I want to unlock it all. So I'll be playing that. It's pretty simple. You just have to play matches. One weird thing, though. So I'm trying to make content for the Gundam Explained YouTube channel, and I was going to make that video come out Monday of me playing Call of Duty. And there's something going on where my camera would lag while I'm playing. So then I decided to record a video, but I was using the setup that I was going to use for the gameplay recording. Long story short, I've again been able to deduce the NVIDIA broadcast causes some lag and delay sometimes, but it depends. Like if I'm playing a game like Call of Duty where I have everything turned up and I'm having the camera, and that's the thing, I've done this before, so I have to like go back and figure out what the settings are. And that's what's the hardest thing about the content creation is you'll get settings down, sometimes you'll forget them. And again, I wanted this Call of Duty Gundam video to actually come out today on the Gundam channel, but it probably will Wednesday if I can figure out what's going on. Because I'll play, my camera looks great, I look great, and then like once the game match starts heating up, you could see that like my face is lagging, which I don't need my face on there. So I was thinking of doing it without the camera. Anyway, just that was a lot of talking. I was kind of getting out there that I'm having technical issues. We all do. Okay, Celico. This game is awesome. It's in early access. There was a demo about a year or two ago. It's in early access right now to play. It uses, it looks like a boomer shooter. I mean, I guess that's the kind of the quick way to explain it, even though I hate that word used for this. And again, it's because it's the wrong generation. And I know that's just to be funny, but then I think it would, proactively teach people incorrectly when shooters came of age. I don't know. Anyway, this game is great. Play it. It's fast paced. It has great level design. It's just tight. It's just as tight as you can get. And I think it uses Z-Doom, which is it's a Doom engine. So it's not like Quake. It's more like Duke Nukem or that was Build, but more like those more sprite based, but they have some 3D work in them. I suggest playing this. It's a lot of fun. Also, I did jump back into Volgar the Viking just for a little bit because I never beat it, and it's a fun game, and they announced the sequel. So I wanted to try that out. Okay, G.I. Joe Wrath of the Cobra demo. I want to say there was a demo for this before, unless I was just watching something. And I know the Toxic Crusader had a demo. Anyway, I played this. This is excellent. 2 stages. You have 4 characters you could pick from. It's a side-scroller beat 'em up. Completely awesome. They have a lot with the controls that I like. There's a lot of options of what to do and how to play. The only thing I would say is and it's not out yet, so maybe they'll tweak it. Maybe I could give them some feedback somehow. The bosses were a little easy. The bosses you could really, and this could be just because I play a bunch of beat 'em up. So I'm able to position myself right in this dead zone where the enemy can't attack me, but I can continue to attack them. I do that a lot. When I play games, I immediately, when I get to a boss, it's like, okay, what's the move and how can I block it? Okay, is there a dead zone for this enemy where if I linger in a certain spot, it's less likely I'm going to get hit, and then I go from there. And sometimes that means moving in close. I've learned that from Dark Souls games. Sometimes move in close to a boss, and if you get an understanding of the their attack patterns, you could usually find that dead zone. In Castlevania with the giant knights, it's usually down at their feet. You just kind of duck and attack their feet, and then their sword misses you. But we're talking about G.I. Joe Wrath the Cobra. This is totally worth it. Gonna buy this day one. So awesome. I think that's it for this. I wanted to play more. I want to play more V Rising. I haven't got back to it yet, and I really want to, but it is good. Okay. And shout out to the chat, Seen Ultronimus, Jamkel X. Good to see you guys in here. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Anything else I got myself into gaming-wise? I think that's about it. I mean, really, building this custom DS took a lot of time. Okay. Let's go into the news, shall we? So, first of all, I wanted to talk about some of the main things that were announced over the weekend during Summer Game Fest. Xbox announced E-Day. It's a new Gears of War. Could be cool. I don't know. And one thing I will say is the more interesting games that they were showing off that didn't have that much gameplay. Or if they had gameplay, it really looked like it was just some pre-rendered something. A new discless Xbox Series X console in white. Let's see, but the price at $449 seems pretty crazy. I don't know if that's just, if I didn't have one, would I be like, ooh, $449 to get one? I find that to be high. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're really targeting people that haven't gone in on gaming yet or something. I don't know. Okay, some Assassin's Creed stuff, Avowed, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, so stuff I'm not too crazy about. Flight Simulator 2024. The new Fable game. Again, something I'm not too crazy about, but I really like the way they're promoting it. And again, they're not showing a lot of gameplay with this stuff. Perfect Dark. So I don't know how surprised I was about this. On one hand, that we needed to see something soon. On the other hand, again, even though it made it look like there was gameplay, like first person, they even showed a HUD. Just the way it played out, it really looked like it was a pre-rendered. Even if it was in engine, they just scripted a scene to watch. So it was really hard. And plus, there was only a few references in general to Perfect Dark in terms of gameplay and what they were talking about. But you could, it might not. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's like this kind of modernized over design where it doesn't feel like it's taking from the original, which is okay. I guess. There was no real gameplay, so to me, this is still hard to... Okay, we'll see when it comes out. One of those things. So Diablo 4 had this crazy trailer for this Vessel of Hatred DLC, which the trailer itself, which is not the game, seemed cooler than the game itself. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, Age of Mythology Retold. I'd be down to play Age of Mythology again. I played it a little bit back when it came out, but I'm down. I'm glad they're still doing the RTS thing. And then a new World of Warcraft expansion. So, I mean, really going down here, if we're just talking about what Xbox has announced so far, all different types of games. RPG, action, FPS, RTS, MMO, Fallout 76 stuff. And that's the thing, I don't play all these, but it's cool that there's all these options. Starfield got some stuff, I think, that came out. I know they announced some stuff. Okay, sometime 2024. So the Shattered Space is something coming out later, but there is some drops, I think, that came out over the weekend. Doom: The Dark Ages in 2025. I thought this looked underwhelming, but I'm going to give it a shot. It was very strange when I loved the Doom 2016, and then I played Doom Eternal, the follow-up, and it was just like, okay. And, it was so crazy because, like, I played Doom Eternal for a while, and then I stopped because I just felt kind of bored of it. And then not too long ago, maybe a year ago by now, I was like, you know what, let me just jump back into it, see where I'm at. And I just happened to be at the last boss. So I totally forgot I was playing the game, jumped back into it, last boss, beat it. The game's over. And I'm like, okay, that was all I needed to do to beat the game. Didn't realize it. So I'm just trying to say that the game came off a bit underwhelming. So anyway, that's just my feeling with this Doom: The Dark Ages. There would have to be some main change to the overall loop, because with Doom it was the, running around real quick on the map, chaining, those kills on enemies to keep your, and that was fun, but it's like, okay, I get it. Let's see what that does, the new one. Okay, Nobody Wants to Die. Oh, the Call of Duty reveal. I didn't really pay too much attention to the reveal trailer just because it's Call of Duty. Like, I'm always interested in playing a new one. I love when they try to do new things to the campaign. Like Modern Warfare 3, it did some neat stuff. Even if it wasn't amazing, it was neat stuff. And I always like to keep track, too, of what some of the biggest AAA games are doing, like Call of Duty, and seeing how they improve on things. Like, where are they leading with graphics or maybe gameplay that other games would pick up on? So, yeah, excited to try that out. And from what I understand, it's going to be on Game Pass. So, unless some news changed or I read the wrong thing, it sounds like, it's going to be on Game Pass. And then I think depending on the tier of Game Pass you have, there's extra content too, I think. Maybe we'll find that news later. Okay. And then there was a Wholesome Direct, which is pretty neat, kind of showing off some cutie games, which I guess makes sense because a lot of video games are very violent, and I prefer the violent games. I love that crunchiness of fighting, but there's something to be said about games where you can put yourself in a more positive headspace. And I've talked about this before. Like, I will play a game like, V Rising or Zombie Army, where after about an hour, sometimes less, I feel like I've had my fill of this darkness, and I need to get something a little more light. Let's see. Devolver Indie Game Showcase had Yakuza Cults at a creepy reality TV show. Yeah, Devolver always delivers with their interesting thing. Day of the Devs. And then I guess it's showing Pal World, Monster Hunter stuff. Skate from EA looked interesting. It's cool we got an update, and they had that guy, Tim Robinson. That's right. Okay, it says it right there. Really funny, interesting comedy. He has a show on Netflix. It's pretty funny. Valorant on consoles. Sonic X Shadow Generations, an October release. That's our next page. Let's see. Alan Wake 2 expansion. Among Us animated series. Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. I forgot if I talked about this Friday or not, but yeah, I totally forgot. But that looks awesome. That's exactly what I would want to play. Slitterhead, kind of like a Silent Hill type thing going on, and then Blumhouse, that Metaphor, Fantasio, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Wukong, Black Myth Wukong. Now we're getting into stuff I think we're kind of familiar with. Yeah, lots of, I mean, in this Lego Horizon Adventures, wow, who asked for that? Well, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. But just so much stuff was announced, like so much stuff that it's just one of those things where, and I started getting this feeling out of high school with movies, but it's like I just have to accept I won't be able to play everything. Just like I'm not going to be able to watch every movie that comes out. Ooh, we've got a Talos Mobius in the chat. Good to see you. Oh yeah, that Power Rangers. Yeah, I call Billy. Oh, is Billy your guy? Billy was my guy when I was younger. And then it became the White Ranger. Once the Green Ranger turned into the White Ranger, I love that white and gold. All right, so Phil Spencer confirms more Xbox games are coming to other platforms. That makes sense. Why not? I'm not complaining if I can play it. Avowed release date accidentally leaked for November. Interesting that that's supposed to be an accidental release. That sounds like when you, around this time, you would announce the release date of something. Ooh, GameStop revenue declines 26%. So I don't know how much this has to do with that, the shorting of the stocks that's been going on, that whole thing. I am surprised GameStop is still around, honestly. Even though I like it, I would like it to stay around. I would like Toys R Us to stay around, but people are shopping online more. Okay, Phil Spencer says Xbox's aim with COD is to give players choice, not do slimy platform things. Which I could see that. Because I guess the slimy platform thing could be like, yeah, COD is going to be on PlayStation and Xbox, but only on Xbox are you going to be able to do this and that. Whereas COD or Activision previously already had a relationship with PlayStation, so they do have some things in place where they get something. PlayStation is actually pretty good at that, unless I just miss it with Xbox, but I tend to see, whether it's Fortnite, Call of Duty, there's some other games. There's always like exclusive stuff that you can get for the games. It's kind of smart, but it can be considered slimy, I guess. Like if you're coming from the approach Xbox is trying to, where, play the games wherever. Okay. Let's see. Anything? Phil Spencer on studio closures. I have to run a sustainable business. Yeah, and it's not like he's making those decisions at the top. For sure. If he's making any decision, it's the top saying, okay, you have to pick 5, or you have to pick a team, or you have to close 3. Like, if they didn't tell him what to do, he's not the guy that actually makes that decision. He just has to carry it out. I mean, I guess I'm just assuming, but normally that's how that works when it comes to cuts. It's because it's from the top. It's usually something above him that he can't control. Because if he could control it, then he would be making those decisions, if you know what I mean. And then just from experience of being in companies where this stuff happens. Let's see. I don't know what that is. That looks cool. Oh, interesting. This must be from the Starship Troopers publisher, just because we're showing this. So I wonder if we're going to run into that news, because that Starship Troopers Extermination game, which I thought was fun, just a little janky, but yeah, then again, it wasn't early access. They announced like that there's even going to be a single player campaign when it comes out, which is amazing. Not only that, but it's going to have the Johnny Rico actor, Casper Van Dien, actually play his character in it. That's awesome. That's exactly what we've been wanting. And he was even at one of the events over the weekend live, and he was like talking to the crowd, saying all his Johnny Rico stuff. It was pretty cool, actually. Another news article: Xbox to release more games on more platforms. Yeah, I know. Let's see. PC Gaming Show 2024 featured over 70 games. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and out of these games, not only are all of them going to come out, but then like it could be a good evenly drop. It could be a game announced here won't come out for another 2 years or something, But it's just, we're just in a time, which is awesome, that there are so many games, not by big publishers, and these are awesome games. So we don't have anything to complain about. Phil Spencer is incredibly excited about future Xbox hardware. So one thing that didn't come out of the Xbox showcase I was hoping for was the announcement or some reveal of the handheld. Now, IGN asked Phil Spencer about the handheld live in front of everybody. And I think it was Ryan McCaffrey. And I think he said he can't say anything, but he kept referencing, Phil Spencer kept referencing how he likes using the ROG Ally. And that's an excellent use case. And then even someone brought up, which I guess is a valid question concern, was Ryan McCaffrey asking, well, is just something that's the best case scenario from what you would want? Is it something that is a streaming device or plays locally? And that's where Phil Spencer said, yeah, if what I would want is something that plays games locally. Like, it's almost like he's not confirming, but he's saying what he would want it to be. And I hope that's the case. I'm just surprised they didn't announce anything right now. And I wonder how much of it is, and I don't know if this is true or not, is, like, for one, is Microsoft and PlayStation, Sony waiting for Nintendo? Is Nintendo waiting for anything? I think Nintendo is really just waiting for, like, hey, we still have 2024 to do some sales. So I think we can wait to re-release. And then, PlayStation and Microsoft's going to want to know their strategy, because Nintendo could be in a position where not only are they appeasing that kind of kid or family friendly market with a handheld, but the graphics chips in the Switch 2 could be good enough that it could compete directly with consumers in terms of choice. So I'm just curious if Microsoft's waiting for that, but I feel like they could announce something and they describe it like a ROG Ally or Legion Go is right now, and it would be fine. It's the one thing I think people are hoping for is that layer, that OS layer, that layer on top of the OS that makes it seem like it's this exclusive experience. Oh yeah, Phil Spencer addresses Xbox Halo console rumors, so they talk about that in here. The future for us in hardware is pretty awesome. Like, it's super. Who knows what that means? But I mean, if he's excited about the hardware, I can't wait. Let's see, Killing Floor 3 release. F1 stuff, kind of don't care. Modern Warfare 2 and 3 content won't carry forward to Black Ops 6. This is the thing I was waiting for to hear. It's true. That's fine. That stuff carried over quite a bit in the first place. I just wish there was a way to have everything kind of merged together. But I get it because, like in Black Ops 6 case, it's been in development for 4 years. It's kind of been on its own track, so it's kind of hard to do that. It's just I have had a lot of fun with my Ash skin. Just got the Gundam skin. And then I probably never touch that stuff again once the new one comes out. Like, how often have I gone back to the old ones? I remember the Modern Warfare 1 on PC, and then previous Black Ops. I remember all the other ones. Like, they had things you can unlock, but then you could play them for like another game or two, but then they're gone. I mean, it's like that. It happens. COD is turning into Pokemon with all the content segregation. It could be because you see where people still play the old ones, and that's what I'm waiting for Xbox to be like, okay, or Microsoft, like all old Call of Duty games are in Game Pass, and I like the idea of being able to easily go to another one, and I mean being on Game Pass, like to be marketed so that people would be playing it, and then they'd all be available to download or stream. And then I can go back and play. There's DLC, I think it's in either Infinite Warfare or Advanced Warfare that includes Bruce Campbell, and I never played it. And I need to do that. Extended gameplay look at Avowed and Metal Gear Solid. So Metal Gear Solid Delta looked great, and from what I heard is it looks like it's staying true to the original version, just upping the graphics in an incredible way. So that's really cool. You know what? I don't feel like I did. There's so many announcements. Like, it's really impossible for me to go through everything. Like, here's a list here. I would say that if you're interested in all of the different things, you should probably research it, because I'm only gonna have time to pick out the things I find interesting. Like, I'm looking at Atomfall. Totally forgot about that. The only reason Atomfall is interesting to me is because it's made by Rebellion. They're the Sniper Elite devs. Usually they can come up with really cool systems in their games. So, yeah, let's see about that. And then there's this Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which has come out for Game Pass in 2025, which is interesting because then I think we heard that Black Myth Wukong, which I'm kind of throwing in the same categories. That one got, even though it was going to be on Xbox, I think now it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, at least for a short amount of time. Mecha Break closed beta. Mecha Break looks cool, and I think I was in the beta for that, and I think I tried launching it, and when I was like, F it. Activision confirms which Black Ops 6 content is available with each Game Pass tier. That stuff sounds scary. Well, it's just, okay. Ultimate, you get the campaign as well as multiplayer and zombies, online modes, etc., etc. Game Pass on PCs, the campaign, multiplayer, zombies. Okay, console, you get the campaign. And then Core does the online multiplayer. So, very interesting and confusing, and they probably need to go about this a different way, but let's see. Let's see what the numbers say eventually. Well, we're at about time. I mean, there's so much more that I could talk about because we got so many news. There's so much news, so many reveals that, like, there's just so many games to be playing. I was hoping, though, for a shadow drop. I thought Towerborn was the one. I mean, I think they've even said Towerborn is near done. It's already been in beta tests, and there's been teases about it being shadow drop. Not sure why it's not. But anyway, so that just about does it. Thanks for all that joined. Let me know below, like, what you think was probably one of the coolest reveals of all of the showcase. I don't know what mine is. I don't know what my favorite one is. I'm gonna have to think about that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Until tomorrow, have a good one.